we were talking about it earlier. Like, I've been on the same morning routine since 2003, 4. Pretty much the same thing. I wake up at the same time, go to the gym the same time, pretty much eat the same meals. I've been drinking that same protein shake for 14 years. Like, it's my routine because I adopt it because it works. And I structure my day around it. So and that's what people talk about, is if my day were to shift, my routine were to shift. If I were to adopt graveyard shift, and now my mornings are really at night, my whole routine would shift to adopt that. When we go overseas, the same thing. Everything just shifts because it's not manageable. I'm not going to wake up at 4 a.m. if I'm not going to work until 2:30. That doesn't make any sense. I shift my entire day so I can get my full benefit. And a lot of that is because guys, especially, are sacrificial in nature. You're never going to take time for yourself. Never. You can't take a vacation. You can't go to a men's retreat. You can't do this. You can't do that because you got to provide. You got to raise kids. You got to be a good husband. You got to do this. You got to do all the other things. And before you know it, you've let yourself go. It's been 10 years. You can't draw me a diagram to the inside of your local gym. You don't golf anymore. You don't play pickup basketball with your buddies. You don't do anything. You don't have time. You don't make the time. Like, before you do that, you'll be on the wrong side of 50 and it's over for you. Like, I don't want that for anybody. You're just trying to optimize your morning routine to give you the most bandwidth so when you do get home, now I can be a full-time dad. I can be a full-time husband because I'm not trying to compartmentalize. I'm trying to juggle all these things at simultaneous times. If I have a purpose-built routine, then I can tailor it to what I need. I don't have time to do full fitness. What am I doing? 20-minute walk in the morning fasted. I'll wake up an extra 10 minutes early and I knock out a walk before I go to work. Easy. The average person can walk a mile in 20 minutes. I do it 3 times a day. 3 miles a day, 20 miles a week. Anybody can do that. Like, it doesn't have to be hard.
It's life-changing though. It really is. It's just having that structure.
I did a talk for some guys not too long ago, and I told them if I could give everyone in the room a singular gift, it'd be the power of that 20-minute walk, especially if you're married. Especially if you're married. Just walk. Like, literally, walk out of your driveway and walk 10 minutes in one direction, you and your wife, and turn around and come back. 10 minutes down, floor is hers. 10 minutes back, floor is yours. The best thing you've ever done, man. It'll help you digest your food, set circadian rhythm, you'll get better sleep, kickstart your metabolism, and it'll actually give you guys 10 minutes to speak instead of being on your phones. Just go. Tell your friends. Take a buddy. I mean, that's why I force the guys to do it. Do the 20-minute walk, man. It's only going to help you. I mean, if you sit outside of our shop, you'll see them. Everybody does them. They'll all go out on lunch breaks. They'll all 15 people, big 20-minute walk. But it's good. It allows them to sync up. It gets them outside, and it really helps with mental health. A job's stressful, man. Work is stressful. If you don't take time for yourself, you'll never find it. Sometimes you just got to make it.
One last interruption, guys, into this episode. It is absolutely incredible conversation. And I spoke to DJ about the charity, and I would be missing an opportunity to talk about it a little bit more as well. So I have got my nasal strip on because I'm about to do 12 miles with 100 kilos on my back in a ruck right now. And I'm doing that for a charity, my son's charity, the Jacob Mulligan charity, where we help bereaved parents get headstones for their babies that they lost. And it's a really big, important cause to me. I'm raising money. I'm going to be going from Scotland to do the world's heaviest marathon. I'm going to run the final 450 miles with around 60 to 70 pounds on my back as well over 10 days. If that sounds like something you want to support, you can go to the GoFundMe down below and donate. Or you can also win the Brass Monkey Ice Bath that we're doing a giveaway on my website, mulliganbrothers.com, where you donate £5, you get one entry to get the ice bath, which is for UK customers only. But guys, thank you so much for the support and wish me luck. Let's dive back into this amazing episode with my now good friend, DJ Shipley.
Something I wanted to ask for the documentary, it was, I want to include in the documentary, like, I think the journey of the ego death and like, you know, you doing that. But to do that, I wanted to give the context of the ego. And I'm wondering if you could go back to when you were in, you know, really in the depth of that ego, if you could speak from it as if you know, you were in that place, like, how did you speak about yourself? Like, you know, what was your self-talk in that moment when you had that ego?
When I was still in?
Yeah, when you were still in, yeah. So not now, just for the cameras, just for awareness, like this isn't who DJ is today, but like back then, like how would you, speak of yourself or talk to who you were?
Typically humble around the guys. And when you come home, you're the real deal. Like, I'm the fucking reason we're all here. I am. That job, as much as you resent it, is the only reason you're sitting on that couch. Without them, there are no bills to pay. That creates stability for this whole family. And if I don't do it, what are we doing? I'm not going to Home Depot. I'm not getting any other job. And if you don't want to fucking be here, leave. You want to take the kids? Fucking go. Do it before I deploy. I don't care. And I'd say it just like that. If you don't like the way this fucking train is going, you can jump off anytime, honey. I'm not slowing down for you. And that was really the ego. Is I had to build up these walls, and I had to build up that in my mind so I could be that Neil McCauley from Heat. I'll walk the fuck away from you right now, as much as I love you. And a lot of that is I'd never really show it. I'd show it in the honeymoon stage, and then I saw the reality, and I was like, I can't do that. Because there are times in that career path where you have to be ready to self-sacrifice. And it is a very hard thing to do when you were thinking about your wife and kids. So that is what the name of the game was. I am not thinking about you. And I tell them that now. There wasn't a singular time that I allowed them to go into my conscious thought riding on a helicopter on the way into the target. Never. I would not allow them. I didn't call them before I left. I usually didn't call them after I got home. They weren't on the forefront of my mind. And if we're being honest, if you looked in all my photos, you won't see pictures of them hanging up inside my room. I try to keep that out of sight, out of mind. And I know that sounds fucked up for me because I do love them. And hindsight being 2020, I would have left for them. But at the moment, I wouldn't have. If you would have asked me now, if I was still in, she's like, I need for you to retire, I would have retired. Knowing what I know now. Back then, I would have told her to pack her shit. And that's really what it took. Like, for me to do that job at 100%, to be able to run in and sacrifice myself right now for you, I couldn't have anything tie me down. And unfortunately for me, the only way I knew how to do that was to set up walls. Set up walls and little pillars they just couldn't get through. And I'd come to the door spitting venom on my face just to keep them away from me. I'm leaving on a trip. Or I'd come home from a long trip, we'd get into a blowout. I'd come home pissed off about something. Like, why the fuck did I even come home for this? The fuck am I even doing here? Why are you still here? Why haven't you fucking left me yet? I'd say things like that. Because in the back of my mind, I thought if she left, it would give me full reign to do whatever I wanted to do. Internally, it's not what I wanted. I wanted her to accept me. I wanted her to understand what I'm going through, but I didn't have the ability to say it. I didn't have the ability to sit down and tell her, like, I'm scared shitless. I'm scared shitless. I'm going to lose my position in this community. I'm scared I'm going to die overseas and make you a fucking 2-time widow. There's a lot of pressure on me, man. Like, I don't know how to compartmentalize it. I don't know how to push through this. The only thing I know how to do is do this job. And right now you're drawing bandwidth that I can't reproduce any other place. I don't know what else you want me to do. It's not a fucking basketball game. I can't take an off season. Like, I'm doing this same thing as many times as humanly possible until I get killed or get kicked out of this place. What do you want me to do? And it was so easy to justify. Like, guys that get killed, I'm playing for keeps, man. Playing for keeps. You sure you want me to take a 2-week fucking vacation for Christmas? I really don't want to take one. And that's a lot of what we did. We didn't take vacations. We didn't take summer vacations. We didn't take time off. I never made time to do it because I didn't think it was worth it, because it didn't have any benefit in me. At least I didn't see it at the time. It was so much easier just to, nope, we're good. I need to focus on this. And sometimes doing nothing is doing everything. Like, what do you want to do tonight? Nothing. I want to sit here and watch that TV, and I don't want you to talk to me. I'm just trying to reset my balance. And it's a hard thing for a wife to hear, man, because they do not want to hear it. They don't understand. As much as they say they do, they don't. And I think now that I'm out, that's a lot of the feedback I get. We get more calls from wives than anything else. Thank you so much for saying that, because now I understand my husband. Yeah. I'm not the greatest dude that's ever lived, clearly. But if you take me to the core and reproduce me like 10,000 times, I'm the majority of what your husband is. Yes, damn. Is he better than me? Is he more well? Sure. But at the core, the guy who's an idealist who really, really loves that job, whatever that job is, he's like me. He is setting up walls. He is trying to push you away because he's trying to focus on that right now, and he doesn't know because he doesn't have a dial. He's only got a switch. It's a hard thing, man, when you leave it. Now you sacrifice the family, you sacrifice relationship with the kids, and we talked about today, like my whole focus now is I'm just trying to rewrite positives on top of negatives. Anytime I have a negative interaction, I try to overlay a positive on top of it. And I think the ego death gave me that. It gave me the ability to see for what it is in the time and place that it is and show remorse. Like, oh, fuck, man, I didn't mean to say that, dude. I did mean to say that. I didn't mean to say it like that. And here's why. And I'll retract it. I'll retract it really quick. But a lot of the times, I'd never do that before. I'd hammer down. Nope, that's it. And it's not a superpower to do that. It's not. To be able to show a little bit of empathy and show a little compassion to people, it goes a lot further. And we had this conversation when I was in with a guy about being able to crush people, crush your enemies, and, physically being able to control the situation. And one of the guys had one, he goes, it's one thing to be able to crush everybody. It's one thing to be able to control every situation physically. It's another to be able to control it and not let them know you can control it. I can sit back and I can let you do or say whatever you want to, and I'm not going to perceive it positively or negatively. I know that I can control the outcome of this whenever I want to. That's a superpower. I'm going to hide in the white noise and I'll just sit here, and then whenever I want to, I'll change it. I wish I would have had that optic back then. I wish I would have had the optic to sit back and go, I don't need to jump up. I don't need to shout. I don't need to flex. I don't need to do any of this. I don't need to do that at all. Gotta have a dial though. It's very hard to develop.
I mean, that is the really, really interesting thing, especially to me. Like, that's what I really want to hear about.
Do you have more questions on the ego?
Yeah, the death of the ego, I think, is the biggest one.
So because I compartmentalized my whole family the whole time I was in, I was never homesick. We do 6-month deployments, 4-month, 5-month, whatever it's going to be. I'd gone for 30 days, jump trips and everything else. Never homesick. Never think about it, really. And it's not a good thing or bad. It doesn't mean I didn't love my wife, love my kids. I did, obviously. But I didn't want them to interfere with my process and whatever I was going through. Like, I needed to be an individual right now. I can't be a family guy because my family ain't here. There's no reason for me to give you any bandwidth right now when I'm trying to jump out of this airplane. Like, I need to focus on this. And a lot of that came with living life like you were single and living alternate lives. And that's a lot of the egos. I can't be the person I want to be with you right now. So whenever I'm not with you, I'll be whoever I want to be. And I'd adopt these different lives. I'd go out to Arizona and I'd live the professional skydiver life and just had a whole different group of friends and demographics and different speech and different clothes I'd wear. And different. I would just be different whenever I wanted to be. And you finally get to a point where you start to lose who you really are. And then you all start to morph together. And before you know it, like, you're combining multiple worlds into one. And the only thing I do know is, if I don't like it, I'll slam the wall. If I don't like this, I'll hammer down, I'll just leave. Oh, you don't like it? I'll be gone for 10 days. See you when I get back. And I just bolt. When that's no longer an option, when that identity has kind of consumed you, you really lose sight of who you really were and why you really started. And now it wasn't so much about the end state anymore. It was about just feeding my own ego. Like, well, I have to pep talk myself. I have to tell myself I'm worthy of all this. I have to tell myself the sun rises and sets on me. And that the only thing that really matters is me and my career and all the things I want to do. In reality, it's not the case. But when you're in the moment, you don't realize what you're doing. You don't realize what you're saying or the ramifications, the impact they have on others. You just don't see it for what it is. And it wasn't until I went down to Mexico and did some serious therapy, taking some psychedelics, that I really realized what the ego death was. And I know because that was the first time I'd ever been homesick. When I woke up from Ibogaine that first day, I would have cut my arm off to be home. I've never wanted to teleport back home so bad in my whole life, ever. I've never wanted to be home that bad, even though my entire world back home was just in a death spiral. It didn't matter. I just wanted to go home and wrap my arms around my old lady and my kids and just tell them I'm sorry. And I knew I'd never have the opportunity. Like, that was really jamming me up. And then we did 5-MeO DMT. That is the true ego death. So I think the way I went through it is that Ibogaine confirmed everything I'd ever done in my whole life to try to achieve this level. And that level was where my ego was setting. Everything I've ever done justified this person I've turned myself into, how I look physically, how I speak, how I dress, however, it's all purpose built. And I did all of that because I thought I needed to be that person. And then when you smoke that 5-MeO DMT, things get very, very different because it shows you how small you are in reality. And you realize that you don't matter. You don't matter at all. My contribution to the war effort means nothing. My contribution to society means nothing because the majority of it was built on hate and discontent. And now the whole thing's just turned to negative. It's like I never wanted it to be. I only wanted to be positive. I'm happy by nature. Like, how did I end up like this? How did I end up like this? Just having like this self-reflection, like, and how the fuck did I end up like this, dude? And then you're sitting around this room with all these dudes who you've looked up to your whole life, and they're saying the same thing to you. I'm like, dude, I sit in that fucking guest room with that pistol between my legs trying to figure out how I'm going to shoot myself to not ruin the fucking ceiling for months, dude. Months. And none of you said anything to me? Never? Out of all the conversations we had, all the times we've been deployed, all the times we sit on 8-hour fucking road trips, just you and me, you've never said that to me? How? How the fuck were you going to let me lay back there and die? How? It's like, I was fucking pissed, dude. Like, if you knew how close I came to shoot myself back there, you would have fucking told me, man. Like, that's a realization. Like, if you don't ask and you don't tell anybody what you're going on, no one's going to know. If you do not give this thing a voice, you'll just end up like another statistic back there. Another bloody spot on the fucking ceiling. Somebody in here clean up the carpet, selling the house. Like, that's how you end up. That's how your story ends. If you don't say it, if you don't give it a voice, if you're not just open and honest. And that's what I did. I went down there. I smoked that shit and I fell back. I did it 5 or 6 times. I did it a bunch. And it wasn't until I felt myself die. And that was the realization I had, is I was so depressed. I smoked the initial bit and I felt that it was right on the cusp and I was still holding on to it. I didn't want to feel it go because it feels like you're dying. It's the strangest thing. And the last attempt I had, a doctor came over and he put his hand on me. He's like, you got to let it go, man. You got to let it go. And I gave myself a little pep talk and I went, why don't you just stop being a pussy and just kill yourself right now in front of all these fucking people? And I smoked that last one with the intent to kill myself. No, I lit that thing up and I inhaled that and I imagined that all the smoke was purple. And I was like, I'm going to paint the entire inside of every inch of my lungs with this purple poison. And I'm going to hold it as long as possible. And when I exhale it, I'm going to try to exhale my lungs out of my throat. I'm going to try to kill myself right now in front of these people. And in my mind, that would have been easier than going back home and facing music. And I sat there Indian style in that bed in Mexico and fuck it. Had the doctor there, had all the nurses, there's nobody else around, just me solo. And I smoked that thing as hard as I possibly could. And when I hit my head to that pillow, everything in my world shattered. It literally feels like you explode. And if you don't try to control it and you just throw your arms out and let it take you, it'll kill you. And it was the most liberating feeling of my entire life. I felt so insignificant on the planet that when I came back to it, everything was in alignment. Everything I'd ever done had been forgiven. Every past indiscretion, every ounce of guilt, judgment, resentment I've ever held for anybody was gone in an instant. And none of it mattered. None of it. And it was crystal clear in my mind. The only thing that did matter were the people that I wanted to associate with. The only thing I truly give a shit at all is my wife, my 2 kids. That's it. Nothing else matters. And now I have to go back and figure out how I'm going to solve this. It's like, I don't know if it can be solved. I think when I pull back this thread and she sees what I've really been doing, how bad I've really gotten, I don't think she'll take me back. And that was the scariest moment. It's like, now that I've hit this newfound me with this clarity and this sobriety and this different outlook on life, will it even be accepted? That's what was terrifying. All this work I've done, as far as I've come, as good as I feel, as sober as I am, it's all for nothing now. You're going to have to go and face the music now. And that was the hardest thing for me. But that ego death from where I thought I was to where I ended up, you'd have to do it to know. You would. But from who I was 24 hours prior to that guy, couldn't be farther apart. My wife will tell you, when I walked on the back of that truck, that's the very first thing she did. She pulled off my sunglasses and she pulled them off and started bawling. My eyes were jet black, dude. I mean, I had before and after picture somewhere. And they were black. And that's what everybody says. You lose all the color in your eyes. You lose all the consistency. You don't focus your eyes anymore. You just walk on with this blank stare. Like you just don't care. You look like old timers at a nursing home, just going through life, going through the motions. When I came off that thing, she pulled my glasses off. Crystal clear. I could see everything and she knew it. She's like, oh my God. She threw her arms around my neck and we just cried for 2 hours on the back of that truck. And from that moment on, that has been the closest we've ever been, even since the honeymoon stage, even since dating. We've never been as tight as we are now because we've been through so much together. I think that's the strength we have now is there's nothing else to go through. We've gone through everything. Everything that we could have gone through, we've already gone through and we've made it through. Like now we're the best we've ever been. I'm so thankful for it now. But it was not easy. It was not fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you had this rebirth, and then even though you'd had this moment of pure clarity, you still had to go home and face the music. I mean, that must have been. So, I mean, the story of you sat on the back of the truck. We spoke about that earlier today as well. What do you think would happen if you didn't have Patsy there to come and, sit, walk between your legs, as you said, and pull those glasses off?
The plan, if the truth be told, I don't know if I ever said this. I was going to wade out in the water and waist deep and shoot myself in the head. And a lot of that was I didn't have, even though I was in such a good spot because of the timing of the whole thing and her finding out about all my indiscretions at the exact same moment, I didn't think she'd see me. But I'd never see my kids again. And then I'll be honest, it felt like I was going to be stuck in this prison of clarity and peace, and I wouldn't be able to share it with anybody. It's like, if she's not going to accept it, if she's not going to see it, what am I doing here? I don't want to continue this. Like, I feel great, but I don't want to live like this alone. I don't want to have a strained relationship with my daughters. I don't want to do that. So the only way I know how to fix it is I'll take myself out of the equation. And that was the hardest drive of my whole life, is trying to get myself in a position where I was going to make the decision. And I don't know how much time I would have given her, not long, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I just going to walk on the beach and get it done with. Like, just nothing else to do.
Where was that? In
right down the road. Yeah. About 15 minutes from here. Yeah, man. She called and I answered. I think about it, if she would have called and I just would have said, not answered it, then what? Then what would happen? Very lucky on the time and everything. I mean, I don't know how it worked out, but it did. Yeah, but I mean, that was the plan. Going to way down in waist deep water and in this whole thing. Things had gotten so bad, man. I felt so guilty. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. They feel like they're in this corner. They can't get a way out of it. They don't see a way out of it, or they're on a different plane now than their spouse or whatever else, and they make permanent decisions without realizing the outcome. Like, what you're about to do is permanent, dude. There's no reset button. You're not coming back in another life. It's not. Like, it's over for you. And I feel like a lot more people, if they had the clarity or they had somebody just to shake them and tell them that right now. Like, not right now. Do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. Like Churchill, going through hell, keep going. Steady pressure. There's no reason to make a decision right now when the worst it's ever been. Let's work on getting optimal, and then make a decision when you're in an optimal state. If you still want to kill yourself, we'll talk about it then. But don't do it at the bottom. Do it at the top. Right? Take steady pressure. And guys are good at masking it. They are good at hiding it. And a lot of the times you have to force them, you have to give them the ability. And I see it in a lot of SWAT team guys now. A lot of guys struggle with mental health stuff. Like, sometimes you have to force the conversation. Sometimes you have to lie in order to get them to open up. And I'll do some back and forth with dudes. Like, how does that look like? How's that look like in conversation? How's that look like? How do I engage with a guy? How do I engage with my husband, my wife, that I've got some mental health shit going on? You just say it. Well, I don't know how to say it. I'll do one. Dude, I haven't slept in like 5 fucking days, dude. Me and my wife been fighting. After that fucking call last Tuesday, I can't shake that shit out of my head. And it haunts me every fucking minute of every day. I've been drinking every day. She's pissed at me. She's been sleeping at a friend's house. And the whole conversation just kicks over. They're just like, yeah, that thing fucked me up too, man. He's like, I can't get it out of my head. Like, keeps going over and over. Some of the stuff that the police and the firemen are exposed to in this country is so well hidden. I mean, dude, when you hear this, like, now that we work with a lot of police, when you hear the stuff they have to deal with, I just give them a fucking hug, dude. Like, I couldn't imagine that. Like fishing babies out of bathtubs that mothers have drowned intentionally, and they have to go home in 15 minutes and bathe their own kids. I've never had to do that. And they're in the same boat we are. There's not a mental health advocate that actually wants to hear your issues. They're going to pull you offline. It's the same thing for them. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to leave that team. But they're also human. They're also married with kids, and they have children. And it's a hard thing for them to weigh on, firemen especially, EMTs, they see some horrific things. And trauma's trauma. Doesn't matter what patch you have, what fancy school you went to, what selection course you graduated from, that shit does not matter. And that's really what I try to push out now. Like, people try to put you on a pedestal because you graduated some course or you served in some unit. But I'll tell you, every level, people are struggling. Every level. Childhood shit affects a dude in the special forces community the same way it does a school teacher. Same thing. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter you did 10 deployments or whatever. That shit does not matter. That thing that happened to you at 6 still haunts you. It's the same thing. If we don't get on the positive cycle list, it's only going to get worse. And a lot of guys, they suffer in silence. Suffer in silence and misery loves company. If we can figure out a way to bridge those two, and it starts with just you using your voice. Like, you have to say it.
My personal experience is when I lost Jacob, I did not feel anything. Like, I could not feel any emotions. And I was searching online for this, like putting all different terms and trying to write my situation out and Google it, and nothing came up. No men had shared their experience with it. And luckily I found this group where this guy shared a similar experience to me, and just him sharing it allowed me to feel something again. I understood I wasn't different and that somebody else was going through it and I wasn't the only guy. So 100%, sharing it. I think there's something in, even if you don't think it's going to help yourself, it could help somebody else. And I think that's powerful as well, knowing that, I'll be selfless and share it to try and help somebody else. If it helps somebody else, great. In the process, you'll probably help yourself as well. I think if you're okay to talk about it, the effect of the military, and I guess it goes for the fire department and the police department, and quite a few other jobs as well, where you can't speak to your own mental health, because if you do that, you could lose the job that you absolutely love and you've worked so hard for. Could you talk through that? Is that something yeah?
In my experience, it's like that with every organization. They want to wave this mental health banner like, hey, we're here, reach out, suicide prevention hotlines. They don't mean that literally. Because if you do, they have to pull you offline. They have to seek treatment. You got to get outpatient, inpatient. They want to put you on meds. And now that because you're on these meds, you can't deploy. You can't parachute anymore. You can't scuba dive anymore. You can't do that job anymore. And that happens to one person. The other 5,000 people look at it and go, yo, no, we're good. We're all good here. But they're not. Same thing with the cops, same thing with the firemen. And that's why I tell these guys now, I'm not saying don't report it up, but I'm saying if you have not exhausted everything inside of this team to open up communication at 100%, who are you going to talk to? Like, the 6 guys that we deploy with, I know everything about you 6 guys. Like, I know what everybody looks like naked. I know what kind of shampoo you use, I know what deodorant you use. I know what you smell like after a 9-hour walk through Afghanistan. I know you by smell. I know whose hamstring I grab middle of the night under night vision. I mean, I know everything about you, but you won't share any of that with me. Why? Because no one will ever just initiate. No one will ever just say it. Like, I think we push on them now, like, just say it. If I can't be open and honest with you, then what the fuck are we doing here? Like, what's the whole purpose of going through the selection to be a part of this team if I can't just be open with you? And at the end of the day, it only makes the team better. You want to talk about nonverbal communication? Well, let's really communicate and let's really understand each other, and then we can shut the words off, and now I can just read you. It only translates to everything else even better. Like, now I really know you. If I said worked with you for 10 years, but I couldn't tell you where you're from, I'd ask that to anybody. Ask them what their middle name is. Like, Well, do you really know them? No. What's his birthday? What's his dad's name? You ever met his dad? No. You ever heard about his dad? No. You don't really know them. You're only focused on one aspect of this whole chain. You got to look at the entire thing. How do I get him at his optimal state? By truly giving a shit. By giving him an opportunity, by giving him a voice at the table and letting him know, like, but this is a safe space right here. You got to say it. You got some stuff going on? We can help you. We can work you through this thing. We're all going through something together. Let's just get our cards on the table. What are we dealing with? I've been drinking 12 beers a night for the last 10 months. I'm like, damn. What's going on? He's like, I don't know, nothing. No, don't start with me, nothing. How did it start? Start to peel back the onion layer by layer and show them you actually give a shit. Then actually start to check in with them and build some confidence in the team. They can come to you. That's really what it is. A lot of these jobs, like, they're not able to put you on that mental health, guided treatment because of what happens after that. They put you on meds, you can't do your job. People don't want to do that. So you just suffer in silence. And they really go down the rabbit hole. Now they get removed, they get hurt, now they don't have anything. And then you just spiral so fast. You're like, God, where'd that happen? It's been happening. We just didn't do anything. We never gave an opportunity or an avenue to try to get better. Somebody's got to give it a voice. Somebody's got to say it. That's why I'm going to win on Sean Ryan. Like, I came back from Mexico and that was my mission. Like, I'll tell everybody. I struggle with mental health all the time. I do that with these groups too. How many of you guys struggle with mental health? Nobody's hand goes up. I'm like, well, that's fine. Don't worry. I'm the only Navy SEAL that's ever struggled with depression. Yay. Put me on Google. I'll be on the Wikipedia page, the mental health guy. Yeah, that's me. Like, I know all you guys are. You don't have to bullshit me. That's fine. And we'll start to talk. I'll really start to get into it, and I'll start to watch these guys' eyes start watering up as they're processing what I'm saying. I'm like, I already know. You don't have to lie to me, dude. You can come to me later. We can talk about it. I give them all my cell phone number. Call me. Shoot me an email. You ever need to talk, we'll get through it. And you'll see a lot of guys will come over like, dude, thank you so much for that. He's like, so-and-so is really struggling. Like, oh, you're not? Okay, cool.
Did you get the calls?
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Calls, emails, FaceTimes, we get it all. And it all comes from a good place. Because they don't have a person to go to. They don't have anybody that'll answer the phone call and listen to them with no bias. Like, I don't have any skin in this game. You're not paying me for this. I'm doing it because I don't want you to shoot yourself. I don't want you to do something that makes suicide the new acceptable answer. Like, I've been there, dude. And a lot of the times, the people that talk about mental health don't ever talk about their experience with mental health. They just tell you what you should do. Well, talk to me about you getting through your depression. Well, I've never had depression. So you're talking nonsense. Cool. It's like taking lifting advice from somebody who's never been in a gym. Taking a dietitian who's 400 pounds. Doesn't make any sense. So a lot of times they need someone to mimic. Like, nobody expects me to have mental health issues. I do. I get anxiety, I get depression, I get the whole thing. But everything I do, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, is constantly combating it. Why do I have anxiety? Being late. Why do I stick to a timeline? To control my timeline, so that I'm not late. Like, how many times people get stressed out and their whole day just gets compounded with shit because they're 5 minutes late leaving their driveway. Majority of people. They get stuck behind a school bus. Now they're late for their presentation. They walk in 20 minutes late. Their kid's sick. They got to run out. It's all these little things. It's like, if you set that positive routine, it builds in buffer to where you can control the variables. Well, now I'm not stressed out because I woke up on the right time. I got on the road at the exact same time. My car was already filled up with gas. My clothes were laid out the night before. Boom, 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 boom. I'm there with 15 minutes to spare. I'm going through my notes. Like, that's how you get past this. Successful wins over and over and over again. It doesn't have to be crazy complicated. It can be super easy. But as far as the mental health shit goes, that routine will save them. The 20-minute walk will save them. But at the end of the day, if you're not able to say it, it's going to be very, very hard for you. You're going to make, I'll steal this one from Vernon, you're going to make a hard conversation an impossible conversation. Just got to say it. A lot of it is just that initial you know what? As soon as he walks the door, I'm going to say it. Just initiate it. And I tell the dudes that, like, just say it. And they're like, I don't know how. Hey, Brian, I've been thinking about shooting myself. I'm like, what the fuck? I know, dude. And I promise you, he's not going to run out of the room. He's not going to hang up the phone. He's not going to put it on social media. He's going to sit the fuck down, pop in his earphones, and listen to every word that leaves your mouth for the next 45 minutes until he solves this issue. And I bet you he's going to throw one back at you. Do me too. He will. Like, there's too many people struggling with too many things right now that people just are not offering him an avenue to talk about. Give them the opportunity people want to share.
100%. I think hearing that from you, I'm hoping, and I know it has already, you've said about, you know, the work you've already done, hoping it opens it up to some of our audience as well, that it's okay to talk about things. It's good to talk to people about things. I think once you've done that once, if you can just open the door to that, that's it. You can change your life and transform the way you process these things, because you realize, like you say, they didn't run away. They didn't laugh at you. They didn't ridicule you. They helped you, you know, and that's human nature. I think, especially when it's a brother or a really close friend of yours, like, that's why they're your close friend. Of course they're there to help you. They love you. That's the whole point of it. You had this rebirth. You came back and you said you wanted to run to the closest rooftop and scream, you know, about all of this stuff and like try and share this message. How did you start doing that? Like, what was the process of you actually starting to get down there with people and helping them?
I started talking about it with everybody. Went on the Sean Ryan podcast, went on a couple of things, and just really giving mental health a physical vessel to point towards and give it a voice. Like, I struggle with mental health all the time, and you should see the looks like, but you're this. Like, don't they train you for that? Like, maybe I missed the PowerPoint presentation where they talk about how mental health doesn't affect us. I don't know. It most certainly affects me. I kind of just went through the whole thing, and then the importance of it. And a lot of the stuff is, you know, kind of reshape that whole narrative into being a professional, being a pro at everything you do. And part of that is communication. Part of that is acceptance. Part of that is picking somebody up when they've fallen down. Being that on every level. Am I a professional at everything I do? And am I trying to make myself 1% better in all these fields? Yeah. Is my mental health perfect? No. Do I still get depressed? Yeah. Do I still have anxiety? Yeah. Am I actively combating it? You fucking ain't right, I am, all day. Because I understand the importance of it now. If I don't have any bandwidth to give to other people, there's nothing else to give to them. But if I manage my stuff as much as I possibly can, I try to keep it isolated, constantly polishing it, constantly refining it, keep this shit in a box, then I can open up the other 75% of my bandwidth to everybody else. But if I don't, my stuff's all over the table. I can't help you out. I'm in complete disarray. I have to have some sort of organization, but not so structured that it becomes rigid. I've got to be able to adapt every day as things change. Something else gets implemented, restructure my day. But yeah, the Be a Bro thing has been one of the bigger things we've done. And I think the mental health aspect is huge in there. You know, we tell stories to kind of get guys motivated, and, you know, just how important it is to be a professional at whatever you're doing and inspiring the generation behind you to backfill you. It's kind of hard to do when you're just spitting hate and discontent all day long, and you see people who do that. You know, just imagine me, if I'd never gone down to Mexico, I got on social media, I had this fanfare, but all I did was talk negative all day long. Screw this, screw that, that's fucked up, and I just started that whole hate train. Everyone that would see me, everyone that would associate me, would see me as that disgruntled ex so-and-so who spits nothing but hate and negativity. It's not what I want to be. Am I trying to mass produce that version of myself? No, not a bit. That's another thing. Like, are you clonable? Would we be better off if we had 25 of you running around? I think so. If you're not, why not? Is there anything I could change about myself that would make me clonable? Well, yeah, I could polish this, I could polish that, I can make this a little more refined. Like, generally speaking, if we had 4 or 5 of you, we'd be better. Yeah. That's a good thing. A lot of people in this world we would not want to clone. Those are the people you avoid. Birds of a feather. Once you see them, once you understand you don't want more of those people running around, you have to disassociate. They're not going to make you better. They're not. The more you're around them, the more they're going to erode you. Next thing you know, you start to develop their speech patterns. Everything they do, everything they say, you start to agree with it. It starts to wear on you, starts to break you down. I want people that are better than me, people that are uplifting, that people that when they walk into a room, I perk up. Oh, cool, he's here. All right. I want people like that, not when they walk in a room like, oh, it's going to be a long day. Okay. We all have those people in our lives. We see him. We see him working at the banks. We see him working at Starbucks. We see him. It's like, man, I hate that you feel like that. Life can't be awesome if you let it. You're jaded right now, and I can't do anything to sell. Can't do anything to save you. Can't save everybody though.
The concept that you spoke about today quite a few times was when you were beginning in all of this, and most successful or obsessively successful people who are trying to be great have switches, and that's it. You know, they're wearing the I'm Kobe Bryant. That's it. You know, everything is obsession with basketball, and there's nothing else. No family. I'm not a husband, a father, a friend. I'm just the best basketball player on planet Earth. And you had this exact same thing, this switch that you would flick on, and it usually remained on even throughout your personal life and everything. And that now you see that completely differently, and you have a different concept now.
Yeah, dials and switches. You know, when you're 19 years old, fresh out of high school, joining a new whatever, it's really easy just to go, I'll be a Navy SEAL. It's the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. How good I can shoot, move, communicate, parachute, dive, whatever it is. It's a lot of things you really got to be good at. And it's a lot easier if I don't have any distractions. So let me just focus on this one thing. And where a lot of guys make the mistake is they try to introduce a family into that foundational phase. Like, well, instead of just focusing my first 4, 5, 6, 10 years on developing my kata, my style, my foundation, I'm going to try to manage a bunch of things at one time. I'll try to get a girlfriend. I'll get a puppy. I'll buy a house. I'll do this. I'll take it windsurfing. No. Nope. That's why, piss a lot of people off. That's why I like the East Coast more than the West Coast. There's not any, you've been here. There's nothing to do here. The only thing there is to do is focus on work. You got the sunny California, beautiful beaches, surf, beautiful women. There's plenty of places to go. You can rock climb. You can be in Red Rocks. You can go out to wherever. You can do whatever you want to in California. Lots of distractions. Not a lot of distractions here. There's nothing to do. You can't be more than an hour away. You're not going rock climbing here. You can go to the rock gym, go to indoor rock gym, you go to the actual gym, you can go to the shooting range, you can go swim. I guess you can surf on these waves, but like, there's not a lot of things to do, so you can just focus on that one thing. And as you set that foundation, I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary to limit your options and narrow your focus. I don't want any external factors pulling bandwidth for me. I just want to focus on this one thing right now. That's the only thing I truly care about because it matters. So I'm going to hammer down on this one thing right now. And when I'm older, and you know, hindsight being 20/20, if someone could have given me a gift at 17, it would have been the concept, maybe not the application, but the concept of a dial and not just a switch. Later on in your life, I'm going to reintroduce this to you and you'll remember back. You won't know how to apply it, but I'll show you then. Just the concept would have helped me. Like, this is not what you're going to do for 20 years. It's not. And if you are, you're going to do this whole thing alone. And that's a very common thing to see guys 17, 18 years in their career single. Like, just a long-term girlfriend, they've been dating for 10 years, not engaged, not married, no kids. Then they retire and they try to do everything real fast. That's pretty common. Hindsight being 20/20, if we could just develop this into, the switch is great for establishing the baseline, but if I want to introduce a wife into the situation and then kids in the situation, a dial serves me much better. A panel of dials offer me even more. And if we just say that being a pro is doing everything you do at a super high level, then I would say that being a husband deserves a professional approach. So what would a pro do? If your only job was to be a husband, what would you do? I'd do it 100%. I'd wake up and I'd cater to her every single need. I'd provide funding, protection, livelihood, home, electricity. I provide all the things I'd have to. You know, security blanket, that's my job. And I'd crank that thing all the way over to a 10 and I'd live there. And then when it's time for me to go golfing, I'd power down my husband and I'd power up the golf. Now when we have kids, it's the exact same thing. Now there's just 2 dials. Now I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, I'm a whatever. That takes full bandwidth. But if I go from Navy SEAL, entrepreneur, whatever, and I take that straight home, they don't need that. That's not what she needs here. She's me barking orders at her. My kids don't need that. So what do? I've got to be able to dial it up and dial it down. But in reality, that's a very hard thing to do in close proximity. So the people that work from home, that's a hard one. So what I tell guys, I use my transition times. So you've been to the work, you've seen the drive here. It takes me exactly 10 minutes to do it. It's basically 2 songs by Chris Stapleton. I jump in that car, I power everything down, I check my social media one time. I usually roll that at 5 o'clock. I'll check everything on social media so I won't have to do it at home. Doesn't always happen. And then as soon as I get in that car, when I put it in drive, I change the radio station. I put on something super easy, something nice and calm, and I shut everything else out. And I play in role reversal of what's going to happen when I hit that garage door. Who's going to be the first auto that's going to run down? Who's going to grab me? What are they going to say? What are they wearing? And I start to try to predict the future. Where are they at? Where's Patsy with homework? Like how far they've gotten along? What am I making for dinner? And just all the interactions I'm about to have, these little micro wins that I could potentially have and all these potential micro fails. If I walk in this house with CEO hat on or whatever hat on, I'm going to fail over and over and over again. And the 25 things I did right from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., I can undo right now. It's not what a pro would do. If my only job was to be a husband and a father right now, what would you do? I'd dial all those things down. I'd grab both those dials and I'd go, I'd hover right at a 7 or an 8. Come to the door, hugs and kisses. Hey, great to see everybody. I want to do a tea party. Whap, crank it over to a 10. We're painting fingernails. We got pig ties. We got the whole thing. Brontosaurus crawling around on all fours. That's a 10. She needs me to come down from homework and we need to have an adult conversation. I'll dial down dad to a 3. I'll take husband from a 7 and roll to a 10. Undivided attention. Send it. What do you got? Now I'm playing therapist back and forth. Like, okay, we've eaten dinner now. I'm still at a 7 or an 8, still at a 3 or a 4. Let's go on a 20-minute walk, you and me. Cool. I power everything down. I'm going to be selfish for these next 10 minutes. We won't say anything usually. The first lap, we won't say anything. We just walk. We just sink in energy. I'm just trying to flush out whatever I'm working through right now. Now it's your turn. Crank it back up to a 10. Give it to me. Whatever she's got going on, whatever she's processing, whatever trauma, now it's your undivided attention. I'm not texting on my phone. I'm not trying to multitask. I hate multitasking. You can't do anything at 100%. You can't. Like, let me just shut this thing down. Let me just solve this issue. Tell it to me. Cool, we come back in here. I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about social media. I'm not thinking about trips and ammo and shooting or training. I'm not thinking about any of that because now I have the concept of the dial. And I can power down the GBRS dial all the way to 0. As soon as I wake up 5:30 in the morning, wham, sit it right at a 4. Brush my teeth with purpose. My whole morning routine, I get in the truck. The music's a little different. Now it's Ludovico because I'm going in for a cold plunge. I'm trying to get my mind right. I'm trying to scrub out all the hate and toxicity, whatever I have going on inside me. My whole morning is purpose built. They don't know I'm here. They don't even know I'm gone. So my husband, my father dial is cranked to 0. I'm not thinking about them at all. And I know that sounds fucked up, but it's not. It's because the next 45 minutes are just for me. I've given you everything else. My morning routine is not about them. It's not about Instagram. It's not about subscriptions. That morning routine is just for me. That fitness is not for you. It's not for them. It's for me. And I do it because it puts me on a better trajectory in my life. That's why I do it, not for anybody else. So once I go in there, I crank it all the way up. When I'm setting up for a deadlift or a big lift, whatever it's going to be, I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not thinking about the meeting I have at 10. I'm not thinking about the range block we have that afternoon. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch. Nothing. I'm focused on that one particular thing, and I have a good lift or I have a bad lift. When I'm done, I reset and do the same thing again. 20-minute walk. Hover back. We had to go into a meeting. I've been hovering at a 4 or 5 this whole time, just allowing my whole self to process. Now I've got to go into a meeting. Wow. Crank it over to 10. Give you my undivided attention. As soon as I walk in a meeting, back to a 4. 20-minute walk. Okay, 20-minute walk. Anything happens in between, I'll dial it down. Like, I'm not on my email. I'm not on my cell phone. I'm not trying to two-hand type. I'm not trying to listen to your phone call and give you my undivided attention. Like 60-40, 50-50, I'm not doing that. I shut off my email, I swivel around my chair, and I look at you. Send it. There's nothing else that should matter more right now. Like, I hate this multitasking concept. Oh, I can have 4 browsers open. I can have a conversation with you and I'm on a Zoom call. No, you can't. No, you can't. And if you just stop lying to yourself and use some dials and really take some practice and use those buffers in between those transitional moments to set the stage, give yourself every opportunity, exhaust every resource. Have I really dialed it all the way down? Well, no, not really, because I left work. I was hateful. I listened to hateful ass music the entire way on a 3-way call, just screaming at these 2 dudes. I pulled my driveway and I walked right in on speakerphone. You didn't power down shit. You didn't power down a single thing. I mean, that's the old lady. I sit in that driveway, I'll put that thing in park and the garage door will open. The kid's coming out, I'll re-shut it. Give me 5 minutes. They'll see in the window, like, come in. 5 minutes. I'll sit there. I'll listen to Ludovico and I'll zen out. I'm like, do not show them how stressed you are right now. Do not show them. They do not understand. They don't know what work stress is. They don't know what I'm dealing with. And at a certain point, she doesn't either. She doesn't need that. She doesn't need me coming in talking about whatever issues we're dealing with. None of it matters. What she needs is 100% focus on her and these kids right now. The only way that I figured out how to do it is to really take a conscious effort on dials and switches. Everything I do is purpose built. Everything I do in my morning routine is so I can control my optimal end state and so I can have bandwidth for other people. And once I do that, I swear to God, it's like a superpower. Like I can really dial this thing up and I can really dial it back and I can do nothing and I can just recharge my batteries. And a lot of this, that's the company you keep. People are chargers, people are drainers. You met Vernon today. Vernon's a charger. He walks in, you automatically feel better. I can plug into him and I leave every conversation. I feel better. Some people walk into a room and it's like, God, when's this dude going to leave? You almost have to do a 1-for-1 trade-off. But now you know that, now you recognize it. That's just a heightened state of awareness. That's not some secret Navy SEAL shit. That's just normal people reading off the room. It's like when you know that Pam is terrible and every time she walks around you feel worse, avoid her. Just avoid her. And it's not hiding your head in the sand, it's purpose built. Like I'm avoiding conflict because I know it doesn't serve me later. If I can't control that outcome and I don't have to associate with her, I'm not going to. But I have to have the bandwidth.
When would you recommend switching for yourself? You know, if you could, with hindsight, with that 2020 vision, at what point did you need to go to dials?
I think introduce the concept of dials and switches as early as possible. If you think they can retain the information, they can understand the concept, I would say I do not recommend anybody who is setting their foundation and trying to achieve a high level to try to focus on dials and switches. I wouldn't. I gave that to the guys at FSU about dials and switches, about in and out of class, but I did with the context of you're representing the team in everywhere you go. Your performance in class is a direct representative of this team, right? Like it all matters. And if you don't do those dials and switches, if you're only thinking about football every day, you can't focus on class. You have to be able to focus on class. So in that concept, it is dials and switches, but those are the only two dials you should have. It shouldn't be your toxic girlfriend or this drama you have here, this social media bullshit. You need to take the two things that only matter and focus on those dials. But for the majority of people, while you're single, while you don't have any distractions, really focus. Focus on setting your baseline, focus on the obsession, and you'll know when the time is right. When you introduce a girlfriend, a fiance, a wife, and she starts drawing bandwidth from you, and it starts to become a friction point where we'll say before it gets to the point where I need for you to quit this for me, you need to really sit down and think about dials and switches. Like, okay, I've established my baseline. I'm one of the best dudes in the world. Like, I'm hitting my mark every single time, but I'm not playing basketball 24 hours out of the day. I really just need to focus on this game during training, during my individual training, and during my mindset development at night. But the other 14 hours out of the day, I can shut it all off and really preserve some of that bandwidth and give it to you. Because if not, you just run the red the entire time, and it's so hard to stay hyper vigilant. And that's not tactically, that's just a thing. Kobe Bryant, hyper vigilant. Michael Jordan, hyper vigilant. People that do anything at a super high level, you're living inside there. You look at neurosurgeons, like they're living that world all day long, and it's very hard to power down. It's very hard to unflick that switch because it took you so long to get there. It's like you don't know how to shut it off. You've never done it before. Well, we have to put in a couple little baselines and benchmarks in our day that allow us the opportunity to even think about dialing it down. Like, okay, I'm on a beach, it's vacation, we're in the Bahamas, there's nothing gonna happen to me right now. What would happen if I left my phone in the hotel room and I didn't have it for the next 8 hours? Can I set everything on my phone? Can I make sure all my social media is tight and I can just shelf it? And I'll just be a dad with you idiots for the next 8 hours, and I'll just immerse myself and have fun. It's a very hard thing to do if you never practice it, because you're sitting there the entire time, you're just on your phone, it vibrates, and you feel like you have to answer, you have to repeat over and over and over. You don't. Power it off. But if you don't have it purpose built, like by design, it's a very hard thing to get away from. It's like why you have the opportunity, why you have the clarity to do so. Start to introduce those concepts. Like, how can I dial this down? How can I dial this up? And doing it at the same time is a very hard thing to do. That's why I use the drive home. That's 10 minutes of nothing to do. I don't usually take phone calls back home. People call me when I leave the office. You got 10 minutes to talk? Actually, I just walked into a meeting. I didn't walk into a meeting. I need these 10 minutes because I'm about to go home and deal with like life, man. Like I'm trying to give them 100% of me, and it's hard to do if I'm on the phone with you up until I walk to the driveway. And people don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. So if I've blown people off, that's what it is. Like I'm trying to make time for the people that I sacrificed during my whole career because they deserve it. It's really what it is.